Hello, it's Maria here from pepperlyrose.blogspot.com. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in Sydney, Australia. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to thank my new subscribers for subscribing to my channel and watching my videos. I really appreciate your support. Today I'm going to show you a birthday card, and it's a masculine birthday card. And I'll be casing from our annual catalogue, and it's on page 18. And casing means copy and share everything. So the team that I am under the upline has posted a challenge for us where we can case a card from the catalogue, and then we share it with our group, with our team. And today I'm going to be casing this card over here, and it's using the Celebrate Today stamp set. I'm going to change it up a bit, and I am still using this stamp set, but in a different way. So we'll get started on making the card. I'll just pop this to one side. Oops, sorry, I bumped the tripod there. I'll be using the Balloon Celebration stamp set and the Celebrate Today stamp set. And the colours I'll be using today are Soft Sky, Smoky Slate, Wild Wasabi, and Pacific Point. Love these colours together. They make great masculine cards. So what I'm going to start off by doing is I'm going to stamp a little background. So I'm making my own DSP, so to speak, and it's on Whisper White. I'm going to grab some Soft Sky ink, and I'm going to stamp some clouds as a background. I really love clouds, so I'm just stamping with the bigger cloud there, and I'll be using that image as well. So I'll be stamping on that, and I'm just going to stamp off because I only want it as a subtle background, and I'll just go off to the side. And I don't mind if it's not filled in 100% because it's a cloud, so not all clouds are perfect. And I'll pop that to there. And I think that will do for the big one. And I'm going to grab the smaller cloud, and I've double mounted this, and actually bring that up, stamp off, and again stamp on, stamp off, and off. And I have myself now a cloud stamped background. Love that. So I'll put the Soft Sky ink away. Sorry about that. And what I'll be doing is I will be leaving that on one side to dry, and I'm just going to bring in some Smoky Slate, Pacific Point, and Wild Wasabi cardstock. And what I'm going to do is in each of those colours is I'm going to stamp this smaller image over here, that one. There's two, there's a larger and a smaller. I'm using the smaller one today. So I'll be grabbing my Pacific Point ink, and I'm just going to ink that up and stamp that over here. And then I'm going to leave that to dry, put that ink away, and in between each colour I will be cleaning it so I can use it on my next stamp pad. So I'll just grab some of my stamping mist, and I'll just clean that off with my cloth. It's an inexpensive Chuck's cloth. I love this thing. And now I'm going to use my Smoky Slate and do the exact same thing and stamp there. So it looks like that. And again, I'll clean off the ink, and I'll go on to my Wild Wasabi ink. Close that up. Oops. Get my scrap of Wild Wasabi cardstock. Stamp on. And there we have our 3 balloons stamped. And what I'm going to grab next is my Balloon Builder punch. Love this punch. So I'm just going to use the smaller the smaller balloon, and it would actually help if I'd stamped this upside down. So, lesson learned. I'll be back. Just hold on 1 second. And I'm back. Sorry I went off camera there for a minute. What I realise is this, and what we should, and this is a good tip. According to how this punches, so for example, the smaller balloon is upside down, you have to punch your images upside down, and that will help you to punch them out accurately. So as you can see before, I did it like this, but in reality, I should have done it like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get it the right way, line it up, and then I'm going to punch it out. And there we have the balloon all punched out the right way. Okay, see that? Okay, now I'll bring in my smoky slate ink, smoky slate cardstock inked up, and I'm just going to line this up and punch. And I'll do that with my wild wasabi, and then we're done with the punching. Line it up. Oops, a bit better. Okay, so we now have our 3 balloons all punched out. Okay, so I'll just do a quick layout of this. Put that to one side for a minute. Okay, so this is how I want it to look. Okay. Now, since that's the layout where I want it, I'm going to now stamp the sentiment. So I'm going to pop the sentiment right over here, and I'll be using the happy and the birthday. Okay, and I'm going to stamp that in, oh, let me see, I think I'll stamp that in smoky slate ink. So I'll just grab the happy. And I'm using my table as a guide for a line. So what I'm doing is I'm using that line over here, and I'm going to line this up where I want it. Okay, and then I'll try and line it up as straight as possible. And I'm going to use that happy on the line. So I'm going to imagine a line going right across it, and I'll just stamp. I'm just going to hold it there for a few seconds to make sure that the ink transfers onto the cardstock. And I'll let it go. Whoops. And I also let go all of the balloons. Okay. So that's the happy done. And the next I'm going to stamp the birthday underneath. So I'll grab that. Do the same again. Just use my my table as a guide. And I'll just stamp it a little bit to the right and press down. And there we have it. The sentiment all stamped. This is happy birthday, and this will be the balloons here. Okay. So what I next need to stamp is the string. So I'll be using smoky slate for that again. So I'll just bring in my my scrap piece of paper, and I'm just going to use the balloons as a guide as to how I'm going to stamp the string. So, okay, so I'll just get an idea. So I'll remove the other 2. I'll grab my smoky slate ink. I'm going to ink up my string. And just remember, with the string, we don't stamp very hard. And I'll just use that as a guide. Okay. Hang on a second, and I'll go for it. That's one string done. Beautiful. Then I'll do the next one, which will be like there. So I'll just ink that up again. And so I'm just going to turn this at an angle, like that. And again, use that as a guide and do that. And now I'll just grab the other balloon, and I'll see where I'm going to stamp that one, and that will be a little bit lower. So ink that up very quickly, use that as a guide, and oops, and stamp away. And so now I have the strings all stamped. And I'll just leave this to one side, and we'll get cracking on stamping a little background. So what I want to do is have this offset, so I'm just going to do my own DSP behind that. And for that I am using this image over here, and I'll be stamping it in the 3 colours. So I'll be randomly placing those all over that piece. So just stamp off to see how it looks. Beautiful. And I'll just stamp off. So I want to feature all 3 colours so that the balloons and everything all ties in together. Okay, and that's a great one. So I'll put the smoky slate away. I'll give that a quick clean. And then I'm going to grab my next colour, which is the Pacific Point. Just give that, make sure it's dry, and I'll stamp that randomly. It doesn't matter if they overlap a little bit. And a little bit down here. And that's that with the Pacific Point. And the next, I'll just give that a quick clean. My feather, yep. And I'll just grab now my Wild Wasabi. And I'll give that a quick stamp. Oops. Okay, and I think I'm done with the random stamping of that, and I'll just give you a close-up look of how that looks. Isn't that great? Love those colours together. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do is grab my base, my card base, and I'm just going to burnish the score line. So basically what I did was I had an A4 sheet of cardstock, I cut it in half, and then with that half I've then scored it in half again. So I'll just grab my bone folder and I'll burnish that score line. Just got to find where my bone folder is. Oh, there it is. Okay, and fold that in half. Okay, great. Alrighty. Now, with I've got an extra sheet of Pacific Point, and I've just cut it a little bit smaller, so there's a small border right round it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss this cardstock. So one moment and I'll be back with the embossing folder that I'm going to be using. Just hold on. I'm back. Hi, I'm back again. I'll just bring up my Big Shot, and I have got the new platform, a cutting plate. And today I'll be using the Softly Falling Textured Embossing Folder. So I'll get that out of its packet. I keep them in the packet because I forget names and what have you. And I'll just grab that piece of layering Pacific Point cardstock. Now I'm just going to place it in an area that I like. So I quite like, ooh, straighten that up. I like to get quite a bit of that. It's just so beautiful. And I'll just pop that through my Big Shot. Just one moment. Just pop that there, pop it on here, and I will crank it through. Okay, so I've cranked that through, pop this down, don't need that anymore, and I'll take it out of the folder. And look how beautifully it embossed. Just gorgeous. Okay, now I've got an inside panel that I'm going to stamp, And I'm going to grab this balloon over here, and it's a solid image. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to stamp just on the inside. So I'll take out my previous stamp on there. I'll just grab the smaller one. And what I'd like to do with, I haven't used this balloon image before, so what I'd like to do with my brand new solid image photopolymers is I do a little prep on these so I can ensure that I get a beautifully stamped image. So what I do is I get my Versamark ink, I give it a good inking, and then I wipe off with the palm of my hand the Versamark ink. And what I'm going to grab now is my Pacific Point ink. I'm going to ink up that stamp, and I'm going to stamp off and see how the image is nice and solid. Do that again, just make sure I really prep it well. Okay, and so now I'm just going to stamp just on the corner here the Pacific Point balloon, and I'll just do that off the page there, and I'll just keep it there for a few seconds to make sure it's, and there you go, there's a balloon there. And I'm just going to grab the other colours as well, and again, I don't mind if they overlap in any way, the colours, because I want them to, you know how balloons are a little bit see-through, that, you know, makes the colours blend together. Okay, so I'll grab my Wild Wasabi ink, and I will ink that up just above there and hold it down for a few seconds. Let's see, isn't it beautiful? And the next colour I'll grab, of course, is the Smoky Slate, so we can tie them all together. So I'll just give that a good wipe. And this is for the first time when you use these stamps. You can do that preparation with the Versamark ink. After that, you don't have to do that, so that's cool. All right, and the next one is this one, and I'll just stamp it just to the left, and yeah, there we go. And that's stamped beautifully. How gorgeous is that? So that's that solid image, and again, because I used that previous image before, I'm going to use it again in those colours so that they tie into the front look. So I'll just grab that stamp again, give that a good wipe. I'm not sure what colour I used the last time, and I will get now the Pacific Point ink, and I'll just position it over the top of that area. And just wondering if I used the little one. Yeah, I did. Okay, I'll just position it. Actually, I'm not going to do that because I think I got... No, I can. Just do that very quickly there. I'm just sorry if I got my head in the screen there. See? That comes there. And I'll just give that a good wipe. And I'll move on to the next colour, being the Wild Wasabi. Oop. Just grab that over there, position it down there. And then the last one, Smoky Slate. And I'll just position that well. And there we have those bottom balloons that look the same as the ones up the top on the front. Cool. Alrighty. Oh, I'll keep the Smoky Slate ink out, and I'm just going to stamp the strings on those, and you don't have to fully stamp the string, you just do a partial stamp, and I'll just do that, and then I'll do that, and there we go. It looks like they've got the strings on as well. Okay, so that's all finished. So what we will do now is pop this card together. So I'll just grab my card base, get rid of this, and I will put some fast fuse on around, and we'll attach it to the inside to start off with. And I'll just layer it on. Oops. Pop that on. So that's the layering inside all done there. I'll grab my embossed piece of Pacific Point, and I'll just add some fast fuse onto that as well. I'll just layer it to the front. Okay, oops. It's quite sticky, guys, just warning you. Okay, now I'll just grab my two front pieces, and I'll just do a very quick layout of how I want it done. And I think that looks good like that. So I'll just layer this, get some fast fuse again. Just pop that on. Oh, I've run out of fast fuse. Okay, I'll just layer this on quickly. Okay, and I'll be back. I'm just going to refill my fast fuse. Hi, sorry about that. I'm back again. I just had to refill my fast fuse because I ran out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put that front panel on. So I'll just put some fast fuse along there. And like that, and like that. And you do a tick mark so it doesn't gum up for you. And then I'll just pop this now like so, and I want to get as much colour as possible. There we go. Okay, so it looks like that. Beautiful. And now I'm going to add the balloons, and I was thinking of popping them up with dimensionals, so I'll see about that. Hang on a second. Yep, that would look good popped up, I think. So I'll just go and grab some dimensionals. Just bear with me for 1 second. I'll quickly grab the dimensionals, unless they were within easy reach this time. Okay, and I'll just put one dimensional on each of the balloons. So I've got 2 there. So I'll put 1, 2. On the back of this one, 3, and now I'll just put them together. So I'll pop the balloon one there, the next one I'm going to pop over here, and the next one, the grey smoky slate one, I'm going to put down here. Okay, and there you have it. It's a masculine birthday card casing from page 18 of the catalogue, and I'll just bring up that page number. And I'm casing that card over here. But I just used it mainly for the layout inspiration, and that's my version here. Okay, and if you're stuck for ideas on you know, making cards and layouts, what have you, look no further than the Stampin' Up catalogue, because it can give you great ideas and inspiration to further your product. So I hope you guys like it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know, and please visit my online store at pepperlyrose.blogspot.com for inspiration, and my store is pepperlyrose.stampinup.net. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.